Picking up where I left off last time, this is months later, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on. It might take me a minute to figure out what I'm talking about. So I was invited to go to a different church by counterfeit, and I believe they were brought in by the narcissist. Um, they apparently contacted me to get they wanted to get like breakfast beforehand, but I was not at the computer and I didn't see it, so then they just ghosted and canceled. So I went to the Salvation Army. When that service was out, I actually biked to the church where this counterfeit invited me to. um, so we were going to go to a different church. I said I would go to church with him. um, and that service was going on longer. So I was able to stop by, and there were still people there. I actually went in and sat in. I went and sat in the pews and watched the last bit of that service before it let out. So there was somebody there with an angel name, the pastor, um, praying for others. And they said something like Christ interrupting, go get your mansion. I don't remember what this is, but we know that there are mansions or homes prepared for us. And God knows what we desire more. God knows us more than we know ourselves, because God has made us. So, um, what the Lord will give us will just blow our minds. Like a house prepared by God is way better. And this kind of like makes me think of my house, which was totally destroyed. It makes me think of my house. Um, but even though this house is destroyed, just seeing this beautiful home and like the layout of the yard and the steps and the covered porch and the large garage, just all the features, how close it is to a lot of businesses. There's sidewalks, there's good places to walk dogs. Like this home, had it not been completely destroyed, is so much better. It's so much better than where I used to live with the devil. And I thought I was going to stay at that house forever. And I was trying to think about how I could come up with money to stay there, and it was not possible. And then I had to search by lowest price to find a place that was less than half the value of that home. And so that's how I ended up here. But when I saw this house was so much better. Like just the layout, it has washer and dryer hookups on the main floor. You don't have to go upstairs. There's a shower on the main floor. There's 2 big living rooms. There's actually like 3 living rooms because I don't use the dining room. Like my house is totally wrecked, but nope. My house was totally destroyed. It could be fixed. My house was wrecked, but if it was fixed up, it would just be so convenient, within walking distance to a bunch of shops and bars and things where you're allowed to drink in public. This is like Las Vegas, where you're allowed to buy a cup of alcohol and you're allowed to drink it and walk down the streets. That is a mile from my house. There is a downtown area a mile from my house. There's parks. There's parks with splash pads. They just put in a new water park. There's a library. Like the library is a mile from my house. What I'm saying is that this house is way better than I could have imagined. In the architecture of these old historic homes, it looks like the Short North in Columbus, which I always thought was beautiful. But those homes are so expensive, I never imagined being able to live there. But yet here, they look similar. So God just blew my mind. So if this could be fixed up, but, I trust God so that if I have to leave here, it'll be even better than that. But like, I didn't know that a place like this existed that was cheap. The homes were affordable, that it was walkable, that it was a mile from the downtown area, that there's sidewalks, that it's easy to bike. Like the historic, beautiful homes, with the right size yard, with a fence inside a fence and a giant garage that's attached. Just everything. This is way better than where I used to live. That was more expensive. And so when they bring this up, I gotta think about this. Yeah, I stopped at this church. Someone ignored me. Oh, the narcissist. The narcissist was there, and he's like the leader of the coven. And he sends people to try to get me. And they don't always. Sometimes they don't want to, and they choose not to. But anyways, he walked up to me, and he was really awkward and weird. And he said, I love you. And then this is so weird. It was like the devil told him. The devil told him to say that to me, and it was supposed to be an attack. And he was like, he didn't know what was going on here. Just seriously, like, I could tell he was told to do this, and he was really weirded out. He was like, oh, and I love you. And then he has, a lot of times I see him and he'll like hug me, and he's like, oh, it's good to see you. And clearly it's like torture to see me. So this is funny. So anyways, he walked up to me and he said, I love you. And then I saw the pastor, and this was just so weird. He's never said this, and obviously he doesn't. It was funny. So then I see someone and their daughter, and then I had met with them before. They give me a really strange look. I don't know. Maybe they were enemies, or maybe witchcraft was being used against them. I slowly went to the gym. Someone picked me up. Oh, I was picked up for a group, and my ride apparently got some karma because their car had been damaged. And there was also wind damage. So I believe this was probably karma because they were trying to get me. They were sent to try to get me. Something about restorative sleep. I was on my bike and biking, and the homeless couple, the man that said, hey, little mama, this time they were walking down the street, and I biked past him. And they look like zombies, especially the girl. She's small, and she was just walking like a zombie, like completely out of it. So they were on drugs. Unfortunately, they were on drugs again, and probably any wealth or anything that they could save up is just gone, and they got to start at zero again every time they use. So this was sad. She really did look like a zombie, like no one was home. See, it says they actually are staying near my house at a car wash, but actually I tried to find them, and I biked around the area, and I didn't see them, so they probably have moved on to a different location now. On my way to the gym, I saw people selling lemonade. Oh, there was a windstorm. So there was someone at Salvation Army talking about how windy it was, and trucks were blowing over. Well, here, I'm biking to the gym, and I'm going slow. There's a lot of wind. Oh, this is a windstorm. I forgot to say, this is a windstorm this day. There are kiddie pools, like the ones that are 5 foot across, those kind that you can buy at like Walmart or Dollar General. They were blowing down the street, just from people's backyards, blowing down the street. That's like, this windstorm was crazy. There's all types of siding missing, like every third house the siding was missing. So there's all types of weather weapons being used. They try to use wind against me too, because it's really hard to bike into the wind. And on the bike, that's why I was biking slow. Oh, I was biking slow. I'm going like half speed, and I'm getting out of breath because the wind. Now I'm remembering. Okay, I think I went to Walmart. What? Okay, so yeah, after I went to the church, I was biking to the gym. There's a windstorm. There's like kiddie pools and all types of stuff blowing down the road. People siding blowing off. And I stop at Walmart too. Maybe I stopped at Walmart before or after I went to the gym. And I actually had talked to the clerk when I was checking out, and we were discussing baptisms again. So that was just another confirmation it was the right thing to do. So Proverbs 3:24, rejoice, too late to lose, evil stronghold, any place not thriving. I think this is from the Bible study. So this is not quite accurate. Yes, God wants us to do well, but until we learn how to take care of resources, then things are held back from us. we're not given certain things until we're ready for it. But during this Bible study, the person leading this, who I will call the faith healer, he mentioned commanding your assigned angels to bring in the harvest, and it's your due season. Command to stop delays and obstacles. So I love when I hear this, but it hasn't worked yet. It's like all of these teases. They tease me all the time, like it's restoration season. All the delays are gone. All the doors are open, all this and that. But yet, here I am, still not restored, and more things continually break. Still not restored yet. And this is way back in March. January, February, March. This is way back in March. It is now going to be June tomorrow. I'm still not restored. So when I hear this, like, I almost get mad when I hear this. It's like, you guys are lying to me. Because, how many times do I have to hear it? It kind of is like crying wolf. So I had a sore throat. Someone is using perfume. Okay, this is an attack that they do. They spray perfume on. They use certain plants that'll make you cough. They walk past me. Then I start coughing and hacking again. Yeah, they gave me a schedule. So they had printout schedules. And when it was handed to me, I was cursed. So then someone had a perfume on, which I recognized the smell of some of these plants. As they walk past me, I just start coughing. So this is actually, this is like a potion. It's something that can cause you to cough. And I know this just happened at the military event in May. The Memorial Day wreath ceremony. So I know what they've done, but it was much more severe. It was much higher dose at the wreath ceremony. Anointing. Okay. Pray for congratulations, happiness. Okay, so the faith healer prayed that my organs and body work right, and prayed for congratulations. I have a happiness anointing. Well, that's great. I would like to see that come to fruition. Okay, so 3/16. Now January, February, March. Now it's March 16th. I stayed home. It was severe. There was a severe windstorm. I guess I had instant coffee, played guitar, emailed. Then I went to the soup kitchen. Cars were zipping by. Woman was hawking at me. Oh, this was a woman. So there's different covens. There are recovery group covens. There are white covens. There are black covens. There are mixed covens. There are groups led by narcissists. There's all different, and I recognize them. So that, not right away, but after I'd been going to the soup kitchen for several months, then members of a black coven would come in, and I think this is when they were having the black gang do hits on me. So then the black coven was sent in after that, probably because they weren't able to take me out. So I think these women came in because they wanted to see what was going on. And then they were doing what they were allowed to. So God has to okay anything that an enemy does. They may not know this. But anyways, there was witchcraft used this day. There was a bunch of wind. So then I do head out to the soup kitchen, and cars are flying by, and some are really close. It is very dangerous. You're supposed to be 3 feet away from a cyclist, and there was like 2 cars that was like a foot away. And then one woman pulls up next to me in the road and stops and rolls down her window. And then like I actually stopped and looked at her because she rolled her window down to look at me. And it was just timed in a way. She like sped up, came right next to me, and then stopped right next to me. And she said, "You're biking in the middle of the road." She said it real calm, like, but it was supposed to make me unhappy. And it kind of did, but I know that it was a witchcraft attack. So, there was people in cars honking at me, flying right by like a foot away, almost hitting me. And then this is a black witch. And this is nothing racist, because I was attacked by the white witches first, and the warlocks as well. There doesn't seem to be as many warlocks. It's more like the women call the shots in the covens, and I noticed a lot more male foot soldiers. But they can do all different things. There's all different covens, all different cliques. They all have their own rules. But we all know that they are against the believers of God. That's all you have to know. and they don't even like each other, but they will team up to try to take down a high-level target. Um, but God wins. So, anyways, she stops next to me, says, "I'm riding in the middle of the road," and I just stopped and I looked at her calm, and I said, "I'm allowed to bike here." I didn't yell, I didn't freak out, I didn't do anything, Karen. I just stopped, looked at her, and said, "I'm allowed to bike here. I'm allowed to bike here." And then I kept going. And I was. Because, see, actually, there's berms that stick out, and then there's parking spots next to the... So there's like a wider road, because part of it is where are parking spaces. So she wanted me to bike in the parking spaces, and then at each block, you'd have to get back out and merge onto the road. This isn't where you're supposed to cycle. These are parking spots. So, but she knew that. And I told her, I'm allowed to bike here. So it's like if there's a berm that sticks out, I'm not going to bike and then go around a berm on every block. You're not supposed to. I just would bike, I would bike like parallel with the end of the berm. And then there's parking spaces here. So, and I actually got to the soup kitchen and I asked the woman in the office, and she confirmed, no, if cars are parking there, you shouldn't bike there. Because I asked her, I said, because if I'm doing something wrong, then I don't want to do that. But then, and I said, this is where cars park, and she said, if cars are parking there, I would not bike there. So she was the confirmation. And it seems like this woman that works at the soup kitchen, I don't know. I don't think she's cursed me. She actually has been nice to me, but then she did invite me to Mount Calvary. But at the same time, like, I don't know if she's an enemy or not, because she actually has been, she speaks nice to me, and she has helped me. But it could be that other people are using her to get me, and she could be a good person. I really just don't know. I don't always know. She might not have known that this was Mount Calvary. She could have been told something and not have known the full story, so. But really, I don't know. So when I got to the soup kitchen, I was going to take a shower. They know I was going in to use their showers at this time. I was going in like the same days. And they also see if I have my bag. So they sent people in to cause trouble at the soup kitchen. They're waiting for me. So I got in the good shower. Actually, I guess that's good. Probably someone attacked me. They come in like, oh, so the head witch was in the soup kitchen. And I know this is someone that did not normally go. And she came in and was standing in there, and she was watching me. So I know that she was sent in to see what's going on. Why can't you take her out? Why does she keep coming? So after I went there, I went to the victim crime unit. They weren't able to help. I went to the appeals court. They weren't able to help. I went to legal aid place. They weren't able to help. Nothing is able to help. No one is able to help me. I was with the devil. He knows the loopholes. He sued me in a different county far away, so I can't get any help. Someone talks to me at the soup kitchen. Then someone else comes in to talk. And I think they were fighting and trying to scare me so I would leave. It doesn't even do anything. Oh, as I was going to the soup kitchen too, this day, there was a windstorm and it was really cold. And there was like frost on the ground. And so I believe this is witchcraft. Because as I start to leave my house and I go up the hill, then there's like frost on the ground and there's like whirlwinds. And it looks like it's fake. It looks like you shook a snow globe. And there's whirlwinds and it whooshes up like, you know, as I'm reaching the stop, there's a stoplight ahead of me. So on my way there, I see the winds, and they're in front of me on the way. So it's like witchcraft was used for these winds to come as I was leaving. I know that this sounds strange, but this was not natural weather. This in no way was natural weather. So I leave my house, and then as I'm going, I see whirlwinds in front of me, like a half block or a third block ahead of me. So pretty close to me. It wasn't even a block away. that just in front of me on my way, whirlwinds were appearing. And then they had a bunch of people that were driving dangerously, zipping past me on the road, trying to humiliate me, make me uncomfortable. And then the witch was at the soup kitchen watching, observing, and seeing I was still there. So next day, and I have more written in my small journal. I'm going to go back and go over that later. 3:17. I had a late lunch. I just made it in like 10 minutes before they stopped serving lunch. This was a special Irish meal for St. Patrick's Day. I actually went past the people this was a family, an Irish family. And I saw somebody from this family in their car as I was coming in, and we talked for a bit. They had beef and sauerkraut sandwiches, which were delicious. I missed their St. Patty's Day necklaces, but really, like, I didn't really want that anyways. I'm just gonna say. It probably would have been a curse had I taken, they're like almost Mardi Gras necklaces, where they're those cheap plastic bead necklaces, but it had like clovers on it. So surely had I taken this, it would have been a curse, and who knows what would have been planned. But I got in so late, they weren't giving these out anymore, and I just got the food. And then right after I got the food and sat down, they're like, oh, we're giving out another one if someone wants another. So then I went up and I got 2 sandwiches. I got plenty of food. So had I been there earlier, I would not have gotten seconds. And I probably would have gotten cursed from a cheap plastic necklace worth 2 cents. Anyways, but maybe I would have liked, if it wasn't cursed, maybe I would have liked the necklace. I don't know. But they always are. I talked to MK Ultraman. I went to a place, I went to my booth. I had a 2:00 meeting. I don't even know what is going on here. There is so much. I need to actually write down and specify, because now I don't know what this is. I had a meeting at 2:00. Didn't make a craft saw. Okay, apparently there was a 2:00 meeting and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. I saw Music Man. I filled out an application. Music Man was upset about certain things. Music Man, I haven't spoken to him a lot recently. We're going to try to make a song, but I've been so busy with church stuff in my personal life that I just kind of didn't even get back to him. So I need to get some time apart. But I'm going to say about Music Man is I don't want to say anything too personal about him, but I will say is he has been targeted. He has been targeted by the coven, and he has been mistreated by the coven. And that to me means there's good in him. Because if he was damned, if he was evil, then why would they attack him? So, but, yeah, I don't know. But he has stories about, like, things being stopped and sabotaged, and he was also attacked by the coven. But there are also good people that maybe he doesn't understand that they're good and he thinks they're evil too. So then I don't know. I think he's a good man. But the thing is, when the coven slanders and smears people, and so the coven will say lies and bad things about good people. And sometimes people believe it. That's all I'm going to say. But I think he's a good man, and maybe we'll make a song together one day. I've been trying to improve my skills more to be able to, like, read music or, play the notes in time and stuff. So I thought I would get a little better first and see what's going on here. Okay, I went to a group. There was supposed to be a music class. Only one person was there. I missed it. They wrote down the wrong time, or maybe I got the wrong schedule. It had a completely different time just to make sure I didn't show up. So only one person went. It's like, I've been trying to go to this thing, so they're like blocking it. This is supposed to be a facility for anyone to go to and anyone to use. But it seemed like they were deliberately sabotaging the music classes, is what I'm saying. So anyone should be able to go in and and join and do a music class. You don't even need to have anything wrong with you. You should be able to, this is for the community. But yet they were like putting the times and dates wrong on the calendar, canceling things, moving things around. And so it was causing some trouble. Um, Okay, so I went to this center. Oh, this is the one that's ran by a coven. There was only one person in there. The boss came out. Um, so they probably don't like that I show up unannounced. And I saw there was only one person in there. There are more people working there getting paid a lot of money, but only one person was in there. So I'm exposing what's going on. They have a sign-in sheet, and actually they have signed my name on that before, which is almost admitting they probably make up other people coming in and sign their names on this sheet too. Because when I showed up unannounced, sometimes there was one person in there and sometimes there was no one in there. So anyways, also there was a woman that worked there in the lobby, and I went to get a cup of coffee. There's supposed to be free coffee, and they're like, oh, there's none. So they make sure there's never any coffee left, so I can't get any. And then my bike gets damaged when I go here, so then I stop going. And I believe this was their plan, because I was showing up randomly. I'm biking in on my own, and I was seeing that nobody is in here. There's 3 people working, getting paid who knows how much, and no one is in here, or one person is in here, and they are coloring a picture. So then I come in. So of course they want to damage my bicycle so that I stop coming. Well, guess what? I already saw, and now I have told the internet. There is another center though that actually does have more people, and they don't appear to be harming people. But this one center is ran by a coven. The other one does not appear to be. Let's see. As I said, I'm not disclosing private things people share about their personal lives. What I share are personal attacks, witchcraft attacks on me. The Satanists hide themselves in recovery groups. The Satanists hide themselves in facilities where there is an assumed confidentiality, and they use that to cast witchcraft spells, break my bicycle, and poison me. Well, guess what? I'm going to share that, because that is not what this is. This is like a crime, using this system to be able to target and harass people, which is what is going on. So, okay, I talked to a woman. I think someone looked like a boy. I don't know if this was someone else said this or they said this about me again. I don't know. This is an attack because they know I don't look like a boy. This is something that has been said to me like at least 5 different times, if not more, that random people I have never met before come up and cast a spell on me. Are you a man or a woman? Or are you a girl or a boy? And they do it clearly. They do it on purpose, and then it casts some spell. And now this makes sense as to why no one recognized me as being female, because they were casting spells on me the whole time. And God allowed this too, because I probably would have settled with somebody, and I wouldn't be serving the Lord right now. So God allowed that. I went to the soup kitchen. I talked to MK Ultraman. MK Ultraman is now saying that he is seeing visions of me. And he said he said he thought I was Joan of Arc in my last life. So now he's trying to hit on me. And he didn't at first. He promised he wasn't, and then and I think this was his plan, to start off as a friend and build, but no. Anyways, he doesn't actually like me. He's another counterfeit. The funny thing is he has the ability to help people, and he has the ability to do right. But instead, he just stays stagnant, and he doesn't, I don't know. He's not doing anything with his life. Let's see. Okay, I talked to two people. They said they live outside. Someone is angry. They're on medications. The medications are causing problems with them and their health, and their mental health is being affected by these medications. And then at that point, I do discuss pharmaceuticals a little bit, as I am against most pharmaceutical drugs. There are cases where things like antibiotics can be helpful, but with certain drugs for mental health, I'm against a lot of these. But then at the same time, people with schizophrenia can also benefit. People that are possessed by certain spirits can benefit from these. So it's not one size fits all. And if someone is a danger to society, probably they should be on these drugs. And sometimes they're not. And there is an overuse of mind altering drugs. So MK Ultraman is actually camping with these people, and they're just not doing well. I mean, they have tried to attack me, but that's because the Holy Spirit. They're trying to attack the Holy Spirit. It's not who I am as a person that they hate. They hate that I like God. They hate that I believe in God, and they are angry with God. At least one of them, but they're not doing well. And MK Ultraman is staying with them outside. But he has the ability to go and get a job. He has the ability to go and get his own place. But he doesn't. He chooses to camp outside with homeless people and attack me. I don't understand it. He could have just done a lot with his life and then been able to bring in more money and actually help these people and get them a place to live. But maybe he did try, and he did say some things to let me know that he tried to help people and they just wasted what he gave them. So he actually is learning, though, it appears. So MK Ultraman says he's now reactivated military. Yeah, probably if the military is sending him to be in a counterfeit relationship with me, that would make sense. And talking about aircrafts, UFOs, we're outside having a good conversation, talking about flat Earth, the firmament. Somebody lives in a garage. I saw some tips on staying warm outside. I don't have heat, so we just had a good discussion, and it was just nice to talk to people. What else is going on in here? Something about a dog? I don't even know what I wrote here. I'm going to cover another page. I'm sorry if this is kind of rambling on and doesn't make sense. The next page has addictive compulsive behaviors to deal with unhealed pain inside. Honesty to trust again. Jeremiah 9:4-7. Liars put in crucible. Trusting only those who show themselves trustworthy. And then there's a life recovery meeting that evening. So I think this is something probably they covered in the Bible study. And it was a message to me where God was teaching me something. As addictive and compulsive behaviors are a way that we deal with unhealed pain and trauma. And to trust again, we trust only those who show themselves trustworthy. So MK Ultraman talks to 8 new people at the soup kitchen about seeing spirits, demons, UFOs, and reptilians. At least this is what he says. He probably did talk to him about it, but I don't know. He could have been pulling my leg. I don't care. I'm not gonna go on a date with you because we like to talk about the firmament and flat Earth. As I already told him, we can be friends. Okay, so I'm headed to this life recovery meeting. I see a homeless woman outside, and she was hungry, and it was cold. And she's like, is there something going on? And I'm like, yeah, there's free food. Come on in. And then she comes in, and then she listens to this meeting. It probably benefited her, and she got a lot of food. So, see. Then I wrote down the names of the people that I believe poisoned me at last week's recovery meeting. And they mentioned some things. These are just lessons I learned. When you start using like drugs or alcohol, your growth stops, and that is your mental age. That makes sense. That really makes a lot of sense. God gave gift to fight and save. Energy is limited. Devil sends enemies to waste your energy and resources. Oh, yes. This is a good thing they talked about in the life recovery. This is not anyone's secret, private information. This is good advice for anyone. So, God gives us the ability to fight evil, to save others, and we only have so much energy to do that with. So the devil sends counterfeits to drain and use up our energy, so we don't have anything left to help people that need it. Not for you to be influenced by them, but for you to influence them. Okay. Addiction, and then I think God kind of just showed me something, which is addiction is used to humble us. And like I just said in the last video, the bottom will be raised to the top. And so when God is raising up new leaders in the millennial kingdom, our training actually is to be humbled. And addiction is one of the best ways to humble us so that we won't be arrogant and condescending when we reign in the millennial kingdom. So anyways, then I'm on 3/18. So this is March, April, May 18th, 2026. It's cold. I have no heat in my house. My dog is cold. I go to my booth. I get something to eat. A woman gives me cursed cookies. They're spies. MK Ultraman says I look cold as I go in. He probably just cast a spell on me. Now reading this, because I knew what he did after that now. He was probably casting a spell on me that I would be cold. The fruit falls. Okay, so someone cursed me, and then I had fruit on my tray, and then a piece of fruit falls off onto the table, and it gets wasted. And so that is one of their curses. Who knows how much time, money, effort, how many hours they spent chanting to do this curse. And what happens is that like a slice of fruit falls off my plate onto the table. That's what happens. So it was not worth it. Okay, there's cursed cookies. I leave the cookies. I go to the gym. There are spies. I go to Walmart to return something. I had to return something to Walmart. I don't even remember. I don't buy much, but I don't have a lot of money. So if I tried something and it didn't work, I need to get my money back. I really don't know what I was returning. Oh, it was the dog spray. Okay, so the woman, this one building, there's a woman there, and she recommended this type of spray at Walmart to spray on my dog to get rid of the bad smell. And so I got that one she recommended, and I got the cheap one that was like $3. So the one she recommended was like $17. But then there was a bigger bottle of odor spray, which was only like $3 or $3.50, which is right here. This worked better. And so I went and I just tried the one spray. It was called Poof, and it was like $17, and it didn't really work. And that cheap one did work. I even asked them as I was leaving, and they said that I could return it. So and then I just got money from being baptized. I just got $100. So that's how I got the money to buy this spray, because someone sprayed skunk spray on my dogs. Okay, so they knew I was coming back to Walmart to return this $17 spray that doesn't work very well. And then I see a woman there from Salvation Army, and she has now invited me to another Bible study on Wednesday. So now I can't go to the music charity again. There's another Bible study I was invited to. And while I was in Walmart, I returned the spray that was a ripoff. Poof spray for me, maybe it will work for you. But on skunk spray, it does not work. Maybe it works great on other things. Anyways, then I bought a heated blanket. I had no heat in my house, so I returned this, and with the money I got from my baptism, I bought a heated blanket that you plug in. And praise God, because like I was like trying to, this is something I didn't write down. There was no heat in my house. It got really cold. It got really cold again. And it was so cold, I put a bunch of blankets. I tried to cuddle with my dog. I could hardly sleep. It was so cold. So then I remembered that my mother used to use electric blankets. So then I was going to go and buy one at Walmart. So I returned the spray and I purchased an electric blanket, which is now 2 or 3 times as much money as I thought it would be. The price of everything has just skyrocketed. Everything is way more expensive. But praise God, that blanket, it made it so I could fall asleep and I could get a decent night's sleep with no heat in my house. That is the best solution. I tried a space heater, doesn't do nothing. Even putting my hand right next to it, I can hardly feel, and then it could catch things on fire. None of these will work in my home. But what did work and what worked wonderfully was an electric blanket. So if you have no heat but you have an outlet, get an electric blanket. So something house. Oh, there was a house that caught fire a few blocks away. That is now torn down. They completely demolished it. And actually, this house caught fire only a few days after I said a prayer to God. So this would be God doing this, not me. I prayed to God, and I think it was canceling demonic assignments and on my street again, clearing out my street. And then a couple, maybe even was the next day, because last time it was the next day. This house catches fire. And then it's just got like homeless people or something living in the attic. I don't know. I don't even know if anyone lives there. It might have just been somebody's home and it was vacant. But it caught on fire. And then like a month or 2 later, it's demolished. And that is this day. I just biked past it and it was completely gone. It was there yesterday and it's gone today. So this was, I believe, in response to a prayer. As I had prayed on at least 2 different occasions to get rid of demonic assignments on my street. So there was one, it was removing territorial spirits or something like that. And then this time was just canceling assignments. And when I canceled those assignments in a prayer to God, then God responded by this house caught on fire, and then this house was demolished. Fire trucks all over. These are like signs. I don't know what they mean. Fire trucks, cops. There were cops at the end of my block. So I imagine I have so many death threats like every day, almost every single day when I leave my house or when I'm coming home. There are police arresting people a block from my house. There are people like the police are pulling people over and arresting them. And it's not just like a block away on this side. It's this way and that way and this way. My house is surrounded by people being arrested almost every day. This is wild. So that's when I say if there's 1,000 death threats, 1,000 attempts on my life, maybe. Because of how often the police are arresting people. And they're right around me. It's when I'm coming and it's when I'm going. And it's around my house. And maybe one reason is because I cleared off my street. Well, God did. I just prayed and I asked God. But a lot of these death threats started when I prayed to God to destroy any demonic altars and to cancel demonic assignments at the library. The next day, there was death threats on me. And then I cleared out my street and I went to the city centers. So this makes sense as to why they try to kill me every single day. It was once I started taking down their altars and canceling their assignments, to which I'm not magic. I don't think I'm magic. I pray to God and God did it. God did it, not me. And if you believe in the Lord and you're living right, you can pray to God and ask these things too. But the Christians, they don't know the power they have. I would say Muslims and Jews don't know the power that you have in your prayers. And just knowing what to pray for. And that when you pray, it actually happens. So if you know that there's a coven here, if you know that the enemy is operating at the library, well, they might not, so they don't pray on it. So that's maybe why God shows certain people, so we can pray on it. And then the Lord acts. So, what is going on now? Fire trucks at the end of the block. Cornhole is rescheduled. There's another group with the narcissist. MK Ultraman said Christ was busy all the time. And he's kind of like saying that I'm kind of like that, like busy all. So he brought this up like he knew Christ was busy all the time. So he's probably got spirits to know something, or he is a spirit to know something that I didn't know. it makes sense, but he knew. The way he said is he knew that Jesus was busy coming and going all the time. Um, and he said that I like a challenge. Well, that is true. I do. But I'm ready for a vacation. I'm ready for a vacation. I would like for certain things to be more comfortable. I would like to have delicious food. I would like to have my shower and my washing machine working, but would like to have some heat and air conditioning, but I guess you can't have it all, can you? Can't have it all. Now I say to be authentic. I was being a little sarcastic there, which let's see what is going on. So there is a woman at the soup kitchen, an older woman, and she's brought a dog with her. It's a little dog. It's on her lap, and she's got a free plate of food from the soup kitchen, and she's feeding her dog off of her plate. This is funny. No one cares. They always have extra food. They probably just have to throw in the trash, so it's not like a big deal. But she was in town for a funeral, and she had a service dog, but this wasn't a fake service dog, because I wanted to pet the dog, and I started to pet it, and then she's like, oh, see, and she acted like the dog was going to bite me, but it wasn't. But with other people, I did see the dog getting a little aggressive, like nippy. If this is a service dog, this dog did not like people. But it was a service dog, so she could bring it into the soup kitchen and feed it the food off of her tray. So this was funny. Some people misuse the service dog thing. But I actually think her dog liked me, because dogs like me. But she pretended that her dog... so I asked if I could pet the dog. The dog didn't even act aggressive or anything. She's like, oh, look. And she pulled it away and acted like it was being aggressive. But it wasn't. Anyways. So this woman came from California. And obviously she likes California better. But California is about 1,000,000 times more expensive than the small town I live in. Well, not that. This is not a lie. I think it's hyperbole. That was exaggerating. That was a joke. But California is 10 times more expensive than where I live. Something about dog. Okay, there's another meeting. Okay, so there was another life recovery meeting. They stopped serving. This is the second time I have been to this one. They're all different ones. I went to one. They had home-cooked food. This is the second one I've been to. Now they have announced they are no longer serving home-cooked food. Well, I did tell them about pork last time. But I also think they just got some judgment, because I found no one does anything for free. No one serves food for free. Nothing is free. There's always a cost. And it's not always money. One person in this group is a food addict. So when they actually, and this is not I'm not saying anyone's name, but I am saying is people expose themselves as enemies, and I will explain why. I'm not saying anyone's name. You have no idea what church this is. You have no idea what city this is. You don't know this person's name, but they do separate on gender. But I do know at the end of this group, they were doing prayer requests, and they asked everybody what they wanted to pray for, and they wrote it down. And I asked to pray to remove the addiction, to get rid of addiction, to cast out spirits of addiction, or just to remove addiction. And then at the end, when this woman was praying, she prayed for everything that everyone said, but she did not pray to get rid of addiction. So she prayed for what everyone said, but not for what I said. And then I knew. She exposed herself as an enemy. Now, it could be if she's addicted to food and she doesn't want to give up her addiction. But you can still eat if you're not addicted. But it's more likely that she's an enemy. And I found that some people want people to continue. They want people to continue having addictions and problems because that makes them relevant. They almost think like they wouldn't be important if people didn't have problems. I don't know. And I'm not saying this is the case here. But psychologically, it makes sense. To where sometimes the groups don't actually want people to get better, because then they'd be out of a job or they wouldn't be important anymore. But in this case, I think that sometimes people don't want to get rid of their demons, and they're not ready to get rid of their demons. They have comfort in their addictions, and they didn't want to get rid of their addiction, so they deliberately did not pray on this. and that exposed themselves as an enemy to me. There's some bugs in here. Monitoring spirits, I command you to leave. I command you, if you recorded anything, then you gotta delete it. So I wonder what kind of, there was probably spells cast on this food, because actually the first time I was there I saw white haze with the coffee, and this is just like, it was the same type of white haze that God showed me at the Mormon church communion. So I was given a communion at the Mormon church and I saw white haze. God allowed me to see this. And then this recovery meeting at a church, then I believe it was the coffee, I saw the same white haze. And then the next week, we're no longer serving home-cooked food, and they did not pray to remove addiction. So they have exposed, there are enemies working in churches. There's a lot of enemies in churches, and there's a lot of enemies in the recovery community. Okay, so maybe if this is another one, they did a short prayer this time. Okay, the last one, I think I prayed that. And so whatever group after this one, they just did a real short, they said, we're just doing a real short prayer this time. We're not taking requests, because they were caught and they knew it. So I don't know if I mentioned this or not. So I think the first time I requested to pray to remove addiction or get rid of addiction. And then the next group, they're like, oh, we're not doing requests. I'm just going to do a short prayer this evening. Yeah. You're busted, lady. There could be good. She could be good too. And maybe she just didn't want to get rid of her demon. I don't know. But anyways, so MK Ultraman asks me about somebody. Okay, Sad Man. I see Sad Man again. Then Sad Man. So now Sad Man has been employed by the narcissist to get me. And he tried to take me out to, so he invited me to go to church with him. I was going to go to church. I was going to meet him at church, or he's going to pick me up. But then he called, or he like texted while I was asleep and wanted to go out to eat first. No, because this would have been a curse, or I would owe him some sexual favor for the free meal. I know the rules. Well, anyways, then I see him again sometime, and he's wearing strong perfume. The covens know I do not like perfume. I don't like cologne. So now they have people wear this all the time, and then they walk past me and make me cough and sneeze. But actually, this is probably good, because now I've built up a tolerance to some of their poisons to where I survived. Possibly what was meant to happen at this Memorial Day wreath ceremony, it might have killed me, I would think. But they have used these toxins, whatever plant it is. I think it's some type of plant. It's like witches use plants to make potions. I think it's a type of plant they use, and they make it into a perfume, walk past me, and it makes me cough. They have used it so many times that I survived. This last attack was bad. It was like 10 times as much. So, but anyways, Sad Man has now been sent to give me hugs, and so he was wearing a lot of strong perfume, which I don't like, and they know it. So they've been sending all the people from the groups, putting a bunch of perfume on them, and then they sit next to me, or they ruin my food, or they come up and hug me, and it smells bad. And I know I smell dirty, but this perfume, it'll like give you a headache. It's not good. So now they've been sending Sad Man. So I asked, like, oh, can I give you a hug the first time? So now every time I see Sad Man, he comes up and he acts like, oh, hey, like we're best friends, and he gives me a hug. And now he's just giving me hugs all the time. This is the new attack. And I don't really care. It's like, okay, I'll give you a hug. That's fine. You know, it's not traumatizing to me, but it's like, okay, I got you. I gave you a hug. Now go on. But he is being told to do this. It's not his idea. Okay, so my ride thinks she doesn't like her name. She wants to change her name. Oh, I mentioned her name, and I said her name incorrectly in front of someone else, and she was really mad. Like, but I never heard somebody really say her name, so I didn't know how to pronounce it. And I think she said it once. It's an unusual name, and so she was mad at me. And um, see, oh, I've got dumpster food, bike man. Oh, okay. So this is a bit of good news. So, bike man was a serial killer squatting in an abandoned property. This has now been taken care of. God has rendered divine judgment. Like, I didn't necessarily even do anything, but it's like when I go someplace and see something, then God takes care of it. So, Bike Man was eating food out of the dumpster. He was eating food out of the Save a Lot dumpster and out of Save a Lot Nichols Bakery. And now I noticed the soup kitchen had tons of bread. They had so much bread, they're just giving it away. They're giving, people walk up, they give them a loaf of bread. So now I'm noticing too on the plates, on the trays, we just have a bunch of bread. Like, we didn't always have bread for the sandwiches before. And now, like, there's extra bread and extra rolls. And I know. So the bakery that used to just throw their bread in the trash had been alerted that, and I think I called and I spoke to somebody, but it was a low-level guy. It was a low-level guy. They have been alerted that criminals, people evading law enforcement, serial killers, and I mentioned, they are eating this food out of the dumpster and they are able to survive. And now they donated the food to the soup kitchen, and this is good because there are cameras at the soup kitchen. And so the serial killer actually has to go in to the soup kitchen and he will be recorded. He's not able to just hide and go undetected with no ID. Now he has to go into a building with a camera that is recording. And so this is much safer. And also the food is cleaner. If you have to pull it out of the dumpster, there was dead mice in there. This is disgusting. You could die from eating that. So anyways, and they're giving it away for free anyways. But also the criminals, they were taking the dumpster meat and selling it to buy drugs or to hire hitmen. So obviously donate it to, and it looked like they did. They were now donating their food to the soup kitchen. God bless them. But anyways, Bike Man looked like he had lost some weight and now had to come into the soup kitchen to eat. He actually did not really come into the soup kitchen, so maybe he always was squatting in a house and he just ate out of the trash. And he would go and get packages of meat, and he would eat pork, and I told him that's not good. He'd eat pork and he'd eat a bunch of bread. He'd go to the park and he'd cook the meat, and he'd just eat a bunch of bread, and he got cereal and things from the food boxes. He would not want to go in to the soup kitchen unless he had to. So now he's having to lay low, and he's lost a lot of weight. So, okay, 321. Bike Man, okay, so Bike Man might be improving. I don't know if he's getting rid of some demons, because I did see one of his eyes was like all red. The white part was all red in one of his eyes, and he was trying to hide it with sunglasses. This is something I just noticed with another homeless man. So I think that, like, when one of their demons goes, or the demon is punishing them, something happens to their eye. Maybe, and I heard something weird about Divx, or I don't know. But this is something to do with possession, and people that are possessed, people that are narcissists. So possibly God is using chosen ones, is using the believers, the remnant, to exorcise demons. I don't know how many people like me there are. I said there could be somebody like me in every city. There could be. I don't know. If there's 144,000 of us, or maybe I'm the only one, or maybe there's 1 million people like me. I have no idea. But I think God is using me, and somehow I think that demons are being shed from this people as they attack me, and their demons fail. I think their demons are being sent back to hell. I think it's kind of freeing these people. I really don't understand, but I read like a prophecy about white buffalo calf woman and removing the sinful nature from humans, and I kind of see the more these witches and warlocks attack me and fail, their behavior is kind of improving. Like, they've got so many demons, but they're shedding some. So maybe it's this Native American prophecy, which would also be the return of Christ coming back. It all lines up. There's different names for the same thing. The same thing is happening. So, Bike Man is outside, and he now has to come to the soup kitchen to eat. He's lost some weight, and he's outside. He's talking to homeless people. So I looked at this, and it looked, and I was kind of happy seeing this because he's actually talking to people in a friendly, normal way, and he's socializing instead of living in an abandoned house by himself. So maybe that's what he needs. But I don't know. Who knows where he is now? I have no idea. I thought maybe he will reform, but I don't know. Because he has the demon, the fallen angel Azazel is the Grim Reaper demon. So today in the soup kitchen, everything was pork. They had 3 or 4 different things with ham in it. And MK Ultra Man got the pork, and he made the goat hand symbol. After he ate the pork, he is going like this. It's directly, God is showing me. He got a big tray with a bunch of pork. I think I mentioned not to eat, so I think, you're not supposed to eat that. And as he's talking, I think we're sitting across from each other and talking and stuff. He makes the sign after he eats the ham. So this is also God showing me, once you eat the ham, it is directly affecting people. Now, MK Ultra Man has brought in a new friend, just a new guy that starts coming to the soup kitchen. So I think he's been failing. So now, here's my friend. I just saw him the other day. And I was like, hey, and now he's coming. He brought him in to try to get me. Somebody has brought in, and this man, and all these people look like good people to me, but they all try to kill me or get me, so they're actually not. But they look, since God gives me these eyes or something, to where I see the good in people while they try to kill me. But anyways, this man is quite overweight, and I'm saying this because he's eating a lot of ham, and he actually was upset with people throwing away and wasting food, which I have a problem with people wasting food. But I did say, well, I normally agree with you, and I'm a clean plater, but here at the soup kitchen, this food it's going bad, and so you can't save it. And it needs to, if you can't eat it now, they will throw it away because it's already expired. And then he's like, oh, that's a good one, I'll use that. That is the case. They're not getting the fresh stuff. They're getting the things that are expired. And occasionally good fresh food does get donated, but not most of the time. Let's see. So then, now, these are people sent by the Black Coven. There's 2 men sitting at a table, like the next table. I have never seen them before. And this is a time when I keep seeing these witches from this specific coven. So after the gang members weren't able to take me out, and the police keep arresting people, I'm not contacting the police. The police are just getting them. And then the witches are coming in after this has failed. And then they've sent, these are 2 young men I've never seen before, and they've just got 2 Pepsis. I have never seen them. They have never spoken to me. They turn around and they place one on my tray and one on the table and walk away. So now if I move my tray, if I touch my tray, if I touch these pops, I am cursed. This is a dangerous line to cross. And here I have MK Ultra Man. He's trying to tempt me and say, just pick it up. Just take it. Just take it. And he's doing this. And this is right after he's eaten a lot of ham. So this might have resulted in me being killed, but God would have ultimately saved me. I'm saying is God wouldn't allow me to die, but that doesn't mean something bad wouldn't happen. I might be hurt. I might have something like that's really annoying. Someone will try to kill me, and it'd just be smarter to not deal with this. But then I'm arguing with MK Ultra Man a long time, and then I walk away to get another water or something, and then he does remove the Pepsi from my tray, and then he takes it. And then he still tries to say, you should take it. He said, I just pray over stuff to remove it. And I said, no, God told me not to take anything from a wicked person. And so you're trying to tell me, while you're doing this hand symbol, you're trying to tell me to be disobedient to God. And I think he's kind of understanding at that point. And so I was just telling him that to obey God, I am not allowed to. And I said, I've never seen that. And it takes stuff. And you know how ridiculous that is. I don't know exactly what I said. But I said, I've never seen these 2 men before. And then he's like, oh, you've never seen them before? And then, yeah, that is suspicious. You probably shouldn't take that pop then. And then he actually had a tray with these Oreo cookies on it. And then he said, "These are the best. I love these." So then when it was time to go, someone had a napkin and they left 2 of these cookies. He just said, "These are my favorite," or "These are the best." So then people had left. There was only a few minutes. There's only a few minutes till the soup kitchen closed. Like everyone was gone. We were straggling around. And someone had left a napkin with these cookies on it. He said, "We're the best." And I said, "Look, there's those cookies. So why don't you go get them? Go get them. You can just get rid of the curse." And he's like, "Oh no." I'm like, "Yeah, I thought so. I thought so." So he knew, or maybe I just taught him. Maybe he knew. So a dream about a dog, a cute dog. There was a gate that was open. Girls there did not see them, only felt. There's 4 to 5 dogs. They were curly. Oh, this is a dream I had. This is weird. It was a dream about a dog. It was a cute dog. There was a gate left open. So apparently there were some girls that had left a gate open. And I didn't see them, but I just knew this. And there was like 4 to 5 dogs there. And really the cute, interesting dogs. And one was like a Shar-Pei mix. And it had curly fur like a poodle. And it was this really cool dog. And I went towards it, and it like growled like it was gonna bite. And then I asked this girl, "Oh my gosh, okay, so..." In this dream, I felt like this was my daughter. My daughter. So in the dream, I did not see them. I think my daughter might have been attacking me, because she works for the Kingdom of Darkness. So this dream, it took me a minute to remember this dream. So I had a dream, and there were girls there, but they were like my kids when they were younger. Like I felt like my kids were there, and I knew they were there, but I didn't see them. Like they were out of my line of sight, but they were right there. And so there was a gate left open, and then there's these just dogs there, and they're like in my house or in my yard. And then I go towards one, which is a cool looking Shar-Pei poodle mix, and then it like growls like it's gonna bite. And so then I tell my daughter to take the dog out. And then the gate is open, so I'm concerned that my dogs have gotten loose. These are strange dogs on my property. And then I'm like, well, the gate's open. Then I go around to look and to make sure my dogs are still there. But that wasn't a huge concern, so they probably still were. But it's like the gate had been left open, strange dogs were being brought in, and they were aggressive. And this one particular dog, it had black fur, and it was curly, like a black poodle, but it was a Shar-Pei. And it was really cool looking. But I went towards it, and it was laying on its side, and it growled like it was going to bite. So this was an attack. Now, God showed me again, I know the rules. And I just sat there arguing with MK Ultraman about not taking anything, and everything's a curse. I sat there, and I argued with him for a long time. And then when I left, I was biking home, and I see, here is a black Bic lighter. And it's just laying there in the grass. And I said, I know the Kingdom of Darkness puts things on the ground, so if I pick it up, I'm cursed. And I said, I bet that is cursed. Because, like, if there's a shirt or a shoe on the road, it's cursed. If there's a pencil on the road, it's placed there. If I pick it up, I'm cursed. Actually, I think if I run over it with my bicycle, that they try to curse me. If I touch it. So if I bike over it because I don't see it in time, then they will curse me. But I've been sending these back. I've been sending these to the courts of heaven because it is fraud. This is not a gift to place trash in the road and to trick me and I don't see it. But anyways, there's a lighter, and it was just sitting in the grass next to the sidewalk on my way home. Now, the witches have been attacking me. They've been really coming after me. But they sprinkle stuff all around the neighborhood. And so I normally do not touch it or take anything. And so this time, I just happened to be biking and I saw this was a nice looking lighter. And it's like, I like that lighter. I said, I bet 99% chance that is cursed. But that's a nice looking lighter. I'm just going to pick it up and see what happens. This was dumb. But it actually was a lesson. It was a lesson and a confirmation. When I see things on the sidewalk, I just believe these are probably placed there by witches and they are cursed items. And if I pick them up, I get cursed. Well, let's see what happened. As soon as I get off my bike, I park my bike, put up the kickstand, get off, and I pick up the lighter. And as soon as I stand up, so like I lean down to get the lighter, as soon as I stand up and turn around, then there are thorns, and they snag my pants and rip a hole in my new pants. And I say new, I got these at the thrift store with a voucher. So I actually didn't have to pay for them. This thrift store, like every year or two, they will give like so many charity pants to people that are needy. And I think I have to get rid of all this stuff anyways, because it came from a warlock. The warlock wrote me the referral for these pants, which is probably why God allowed them to be ripped, to let me know I gotta get rid of all of it. Or maybe all of these items are cursed. I don't know. But anyways, I bend over. I'm like, I bet that lighter is cursed. But that's a good looking lighter. I get off my bike, pick it up, and then I stand up and turn around. And then my pants, right at the knee, snags onto a thorn and rips a hole in these pants I just got. And then the lighter doesn't work. The lighter also doesn't work. I woke up. Okay, I guess I woke up. I was sick. So the Mormon church, they've been inviting me to go to the Mormon church. And they knew my bike was broken down. Like, I had the pedal removed. And then, like, a week later, my tires were flat. And so they knew, like, that it was kind of far away. And I wasn't going to walk an hour. So they said they did not offer me a ride. So these Mormon missionaries did not offer me a ride. They said, let us know when you get a new bike so you can come back to our church. And we're not going to help you, but we will take 10% of your money. So they didn't say that. But here's the deal. I needed a ride. They never offered me a ride. But that's okay. That's fine. They probably know I work for the Lord. And God probably did not allow them anyways. I mean, if there's people telling them what to do, ultimately God will stop something that is not meant to happen. And if something is meant to happen, then God will send, if people won't do it, God will send angels to do it. So anyways, that did rub me a little the wrong way. Because I was actually going to this Mormon church quite a bit. But then they knew I needed my bike fixed. And I asked them if they could help me fix it. And they didn't really seem interested. They didn't want to help me. Like, I think maybe they did, but they just don't really know. Maybe they didn't really know how to fix bikes because they had limited knowledge about bike repair. I understand that. But then my tires were flattened and they knew I could use a ride and I was not offered a ride. It was just like, oh, let us know when it's running again. That wasn't polite, sirs. Anyways, so then I do ask the bike charity if they'll pick up my bike. I get into contact with the bike charity, and MK Ultraman spoke a curse over me that it was going to rain. And it did. Yeah, he has cursed me. He has cursed me several times, and he was trying to get me to take those Pepsis. But, like, one is on my tray, and one is on the table. So now I can't even touch my tray. Or I get cursed. I walk away, and luckily MK Ultraman removes. He's like, there, I removed it since you're so worried about. He's trying to make me sound ridiculous for not touching these items, but they were cursed. Who in the world? This is a soup kitchen where people are broke and they don't have any money. Two strangers come in and just give me 2 Pepsis. On the black market, these Pepsis have a lot of value because at the food pantry, you can get sometimes a loaf of bread or a box of cereal. That's usually gone. But you can't normally get a soda. Sodas are seen like, sometimes you can get free donuts. You can get free stuff like that. You can get free desserts or cookies occasionally. But they normally do not give out free pop. And if they do, it's something weird, like a Code Red or it's a Diet Pop or something. But these were regular Dr. Pepper, and these are quite valuable. And to place those on my tray and on my table, this was not for free, and this was obviously a curse. So, everything is a curse. So I guess this video here, it's more than an hour. So I'm going to just stop it there. And I'll make another one later. Thanks for watching.